Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, August 5th, and welcome to another episode of. Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, August 5th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today is one of the most sexiest men in the world. He is a model, and outside of modeling, he is a case manager for children who have disabilities. He does so much with his career in the meantime, and I'm super excited to have him here, Fashion Dolls. Joining me today, we have Manny Focus. Let me share this live. Hi, Nubia. Hi, Kamal. Welcome. Make sure you guys share the live if you're coming in to view the show today. We have Manny Focus, and then 4 p.m. joining me, we have Durant Searcy, who is a singer and songwriter. I'm super excited. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, Mr. Manny Focus.
Hello, hello. How's it going, Miss Stevie?
Hello, and welcome to the Dollhouse. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I am doing very well. I'm doing very well.
It is such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on your platform.
All right. So before we get into this interview, how's your 2022 been thus far? Because I know it's been a lot with this pandemic going on and so much just overwhelming in the world right now. How's your 2022 been thus far?
It's been busy. It's been a little chaotic, but I must admit, like with all the bad things going on, the way I tend to keep myself busy and keep my mind occupied is just by staying busy, being as productive as possible. So pretty much from January to August, it's just been crazy productive.
Okay, okay. Sounds like that. So before we get into this interview, Fashion Dog, tell us a little bit how you got your start into modeling. How did you get your start into modeling?
So modeling is something that I've always wanted to do. I am shorter in stature as a man, so I was always afraid to go after it because I was told by so many people that, hey, you're too short to do this, you're too short to do that,
Mm,
runway this, runway that. But as I've gotten older, I realized somewhere around 2019 that there's different avenues of modeling. There's
yeah.
catalog modeling, there is freelance modeling. There's all these different ways you can break into modeling, being somebody who's shorter in stature. So around 2019, I just started taking my own pictures and posting them on Instagram. And thank you for the networking ability of social media, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. Like I've gotten all these different connections from so many different photographers, so many different brands that actually reached out and wanted me to be a part of whatever they were working on. So the last 3 years have been just clockwork for me in modeling and working with photographers and brands. And I'm so appreciative of all the people that I've worked with so far and all the people I'm getting ready to work with.
Now, for you as a model, because we've seen some of the photography, which is very provocative, very beautiful, very cutting edge, and high fashion. Has mom seen the photos?
So my mom lives in a very small city in Mississippi, and I grew up
Okay.
there. So a lot of my friends from there are always, they know my mom. They, when they see her, they're like showing her my pictures and, why is he naked? Why does he have clothes on? So my mom has seen everything. She just kind of jokes about it, but she's just waiting on the day where she gets paid from it. That's it. If I gotta show a little cleavage, she's just waiting on the day she gets paid from it.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. So, do you have an input and creativity and the photo shoots and everything?
I do actually. When I first started, I had total creative control. What I like about collaborating with other photographers and other artists is that you kind of get to put your heads together, and it's not so one-sided because it's a collaboration. So
Yeah.
you kind of get a chance to bounce off of each other, and I had never experienced that with photography. I've always experienced that through music or artistry, but it's a really cool put together when you do it artistically because there's two different visions being brought together as one, and it could be a very beautiful thing.
Perfect. Perfect. So outside of modeling, what do you do in your spare time? Because I know modeling and taking these gorgeous photos, setting up the shoots and everything takes a lot. Outside of modeling, Manny does what?
So I work out a lot, 5 days a week. I'm in the gym most of the time. I'm working. I do physical therapy with older adults. And
Okay.
outside of all those things, I try to do things that bring peace of mind. So I'm always like at the river, catching the sunset or the sunrises, and I'm always just keeping my mind occupied when it's not a lot going on. So I try to be zen like in most of my activities throughout the day.
So in the modeling world, in the fashion world, because you guys know that I'm a fashion girl if you monitor and watch
Yes.
my stories, um, models have to do a lot of strange things in photo shoots. And if you guys have watched America's Next Top Model, you've seen them at the beach on top of these like mountain of rocks and all sorts of things. What is the strangest thing you've been asked to do in a photo shoot?
The strangest thing I have been asked to do in a photo shoot. So there was a time last year I shot in Jersey with one of my photographers, Boz, and we were in this park in Jersey, and there was this mountain, like this dirt mountain that that
Okay.
we had to climb up, and I felt so bad for my photographer. My photographer Boz was tripping left and right. But once we got up there, I had to figure out how to change. Like we're all the way up on this mountain. I had to climb behind this log, and now I have to change. And so it was just a balance of staying up there, getting dressed, and then taking these photos. And the photos came out stunningly, but oh my gosh, it
It
was
was a
just
happy.
crazy. It was crazy. But it was one of my most memorable shoots, and shout out to Boz for for making that happen.
Okay, okay. So are there any other any photographers that you would dream about working with in the future?
Oh my gosh, I forget his name. There is a guy that I've been wanting to work with since the beginning, since before I even like actively started modeling. I can't think of his name right now, but he shoots a lot of male photography, like stunning images. He works with a lot of like great male models, and if I could think of his name right now, I would say it. But I really want to work with this guy. Hopefully one day soon, but I can't think of his name.
Manifestation is gonna. I said that to my guest. Shout out to Harold Outley. I said that to him yesterday. So it's gonna happen, definitely.
Hey, put it in the atmosphere, and it happens for sure. I
Yes.
believe in that. I definitely do.
So what is your life mantra that you live by? Like mine's is from Maya Angelou, and it goes something like this. She says, "We encounter many defeats, but we must never be defeated." That is my mantra. I've always been the have the perseverance to keep going. What is your mantra that you live by in this industry, in the fashion world?
In this industry, I live by two mantras. I live by, if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to be where you've always been. So don't get comfortable anywhere, and always push yourself to get out of those comfort zones and to do more. And then secondly, focus is hope. For me, that has been something that has gotten me through some of my most down times, my hardest times, because I feel that as long as I keep my focus, as long as I'm focusing on what's next, what I want, my
Yeah.
goals, small term and long term, that I can keep going, and that hope is never lost. So keeping focus is always hope for me.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk fashion. Let's talk some of your favorite fashion brands, fragrance, whatever. So, for you as a model, what are some of your favorite clothing brands and your favorite fragrance, if you could name a few?
So I love Polo, Ralph Lauren fragrances. Oh my gosh, I really love those and the Versace fragrances. Clothing, I like Balenciaga. It's probably one of the only top
Yeah.
brands that I like. Other than that, I like a lot of local brands. I like Underneath by Zahar. I like a lot of local brands because like in the modeling world, like you get to meet these people that are like doing stitch work and actually like
Yeah.
doing the handwork to bring their lines together. And I think it's such a beautiful thing, man. Like I myself, I don't have the physical capability to do those things and sewing and all of that, but to see people that are really out here doing these things, making these lines and putting these clothes together, I love to work with that. I really do. I really do.
So could you see yourself designing clothing in the future?
I can see myself somewhere on a design board,
Okay.
like being like a part of a team. But honestly, I don't think I would be able to design clothes. But I would love to be a part of the process in any way possible.
Okay. Okay. So, models, because I know I've interviewed quite a few models here on the platform, and they've collaborated with some other models in photo shoots and covers as well, also. So, who would be some of your favorite top models that you would like to collaborate with in the future? Manifesting.
Oh man, definitely. I have some work coming up with Sean Red. And myself and Sean Red have been wanting to shoot for a while. So on Sunday, I actually have a shoot with Sean Red. My guy Dion, we've done a couple shoots before, but I definitely would love to do more work with Dion. Um, One thing about Dion is that when he's in a shoot, like no matter how long I've been shooting, if I see like he has his aura about him when he's in the shoot that he's so professional, he's so on top of what he does, he's so in his zone that every time I see him shoot, I'm just like, I want to be like that. I want to do that. Let me tap into my Dion. So I love doing shoots with Dion. I love just standing by while shoots are happening with Dion, just because it's a learning experience. But so far, those are the two main ones I want to do before the end of the year is out, for sure.
And Sean Red is coming on the show sometime next month after, and I've had him on previously. So yeah, he's a great guy,
He's a
amazing, and he's
great guy,
also
beautiful
vocally a
spirit.
great artist too. Yes.
Beautiful spirit and a great artist. You're absolutely right. Yes. But when I think about people that's out here doing it, I think about people like Sean Red and people like Dion, because those people are consistent. They're never stopping. They're always going, 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 going. I love that. Shout out to my bros.
Now we know that with modeling there comes hosting, and the big question I'm going to ask you is acting. Could you see yourself acting on the big screen in the future?
Yes, I actually have just signed a contract with Tyson Plus, which is an LGBTQ network. So
Okay.
we're finalizing dates, but I do have some work coming up with Tyson Plus.
All right. So we got to stay tuned for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stay tuned.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. All right. So let's get into our games here with Manny, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome if you're just joining, and I see you, Jay Evans. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to his channel. Also, go and subscribe to the K2 spot. K2, my brother. Definitely go and subscribe
Ooh,
to his channel as well, too. I had to throw those
subscribe,
shameless
subscribe.
plugs in here also. So let's get into our games here with Manny, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is going to be called the Rapid Five, Supermodel Edition. Now, we know that as a model, you have to keep your upkeep, grooming, and everything. Give us five things that you have in your grooming bag when you're on set for a shoot.
I definitely have my ab will. Gotta
Okay.
keep the abs going. But my beard brush, definitely some eye cream in there. Some collagen, some kind of face cream with collagen. My hairbrush and probably a set of shades or something. I'm always
Okay.
wearing my shades.
All right. All right, fashion dolls. And we're going to get into our next game, which is called Turn the Tables. And this is where my guests get to ask me questions, as many as they want. For the new viewers out there who don't know a whole lot about Miss Stevie, this is your way to get to know who she truly is. So I'm going to pass it on down to Manny here, and Manny's going to ask me some questions.
Okay, all right, here we go, Miss Stevie. What made you get into like fashion blogging and fashion interviewing? First question.
What made me get into what? Now I couldn't hear you.
like fashion blogging and fashion interviewing? Where did your interest in fashion come
It actually started in high school, believe it or not. The only brand that I knew was, what was it at the time, South Pole and Lot 29, brands like that. But then as I got into high school, I started developing my own personal style. And I give shout outs and credits to my assistant principal for that, because every time she got an issue of Vogue magazine, when it rolled around for Fashion Week, when mid September, October, February, and such, she would give me the big, thick issues of Vogue magazine. It would have like at least 800 pages in there. And just flipping through, seeing all the different designers and things, she sort of taught me and educated me on what fashion brands were out here other than just those that I've mentioned, the Lot 29 and South Pole. And
from?
that's
Okay.
how I sort of developed an interest into it, along with my own personal style. Because I didn't really dress like the other kids. I was the type to wear, the jackets with the tail and things like that. And then
Yeah.
after I graduated, that's when I fully developed and came into my own sense of style. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like that. I remember Lot 29 in South Pole.
Hmm. Those things.
Oh man. Okay. So who are some of your fashion influences? Like, who do you look up to in the fashion world?
Well, let me give at least four. The first one I want to start off with is Beyonce. I think Beyonce is very innovative. I think she's seductive. She's sexy. She understands how to mix that perfect blend of sexy, femininity, and class all together, along with making it high fashion. So I would have to say Beyonce is my number one. Number two,
Okay.
I would have to say I'm gonna go back to the '80s. If you like wild, adventurous, over the top avant-garde, I would say Grace Jones, because
Okay.
she's so unafraid. She's bold. She's fearless. And I'm looking at this picture of her over my closet area. Yeah, I would have to say Grace Jones. Because my style is very versatile. I love to change it up. I don't like to stay the same. Um, Yes. Let me see. Number three, I would have to say Rihanna. Rihanna's so
Yeah.
unapologetic. She just doesn't care. She does fashion without commitment. She just doesn't stick to what fashion, stereotypes are. She does it in her own way, which is so effortless. And number four, I would have to say Zendaya. Zendaya
Yes.
is absolutely, she can do no wrong. You can give her something vintage, whether it's from Christian Dior, shout out to her stylist La Roche, and she can make it come to life. That capsule piece, she wears it on that red carpet and she brings it to life. I'm gonna
Yes.
throw in one more. I'd have to say Victoria Beckham. Victoria Beckham is another one of my favorites as well too, because that's why I actually started wearing a lot of suits and blazers and things like that. She takes menswear and she puts her own feminine touch onto it. So I would have to say Victoria Beckham, and that's my top five.
I love all those actually. I love the reasoning behind those too. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. So how did you get into hosting? Like what was the thought process behind starting your show, and what did you originally, I know things change from the planning stage to actually putting things in action. So what was the first thought of starting the show, and then how has it changed from the beginning to where it is now?
Well, I can say I've came a very long way from then to now to be where I'm at this point of my career. Because I started like right after high school, right after I graduated. Because I took beauty school as well too. For those of you who don't know, and Style by Stevie just came about so randomly. I'm sitting in my room just doodling, doing what normal teenager in high school do. Thinking, reflecting, and I said, boom. What is something that I really love? And that is fashion. That's music. All of these things. So why not create a platform with? Because I have people and friends that are close alliances and allies of mine that are, in the music industry, that are in the acting world, that need a platform to come and promote their music or whatever it is. So that's sort of how Style by Stevie became birthed. I started in 2017, and to see where we're at now in 2022, full circle, is crazy. So yeah, that's kind of how I
That's
got my
awesome.
start.
That's awesome. One last question. Um, what would you say to the little girl or the little boy out there who may be struggling to find themselves but want to somewhere in the future come into a platform where either they're in the fashion world or they're being a host, but their struggle finding themselves is so prioritized right now that they really can't see a future. What would you say to that little girl, little boy who's just struggling to find themselves right now? And yeah, what would you say to them?
I would say hang in there. Hang in there. It gets better. It's difficult and it's challenging at first when you find out and discover who you truly are. Because I found out that something was different about me at the age of 13 years old. And for most people in the LGBTQ plus, it's difficult, to find acceptance within yourself. You don't want to hate yourself, but you want to appreciate and celebrate yourself. Go where you're going to be celebrated. So my advice to somebody out there who's looking to come into terms with their own would be it just takes time. Confidence can't be, you can't just go out here and buy it. But you can get it in the healing process, coming all together in return. So you take your time. You sit there and you think and reflect on when it's your time. And nobody should ever have to be forced out of coming out, and just be happy, be you, more importantly. And if you want to come out and tell your story, it's your story to tell and no one else. That's what advice I would give.
I love that. I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Stevie, I love that. That's
Thank
awesome. Well, that's all the questions I have. You did, oh my gosh, you did amazingly.
that. It was on it. Oh, and I hope you guys are paying attention to that in the audience. Let me go through and read some comments. Shout out to Jay Evans. Grace is a pistol. Yes, love your hair. It is cute, Miss Stevie. It's giving young and ready. And actually, my hair is actually like a 90s inspiration from the girl group J. So if you
Okay.
remember their album cover, Mind, Body, and Soul, they had a hairstyle that was similar. So yeah,
Yes.
that was my
Yes.
inspiration for hair today.
I love that. That's what's up.
Thank you, Jay. Oh, Jay Evans, you got a question? Come on with it. Bring it in. Welcome if you're just coming in. Fashion Dolls, make sure you share the live. Thank you. Thank you, Pam. And I hope you guys are taking something from this as well, too, because there are people out there who do struggle with their identity and coming into their own.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, but he is mad, cute, and bubbly. Island Yankee.
Thank you. Thank you. Jay Sam, my guy, what's up, man? Just did a show out in Philly with Jay Sam and my guy Frankie. All love, all day.
All right. If you could interview three models, which three would you pick? You are so welcome, my love. Ooh. Well, I've interviewed Cara Young, who's one of my favorite supermodels in the world. I would have to say Naomi Campbell. That's one. Uh, Another one would be Elect Wet, and the third one would be Christy Turlington. I love Christy, love her. So those are my top three supermodels that I would go with. I could say Cindy Crawford is my last one, but it's a tough choice. I love Cindy too. She's known for the things she does with her hair and her beauty mark. So yeah,
Yeah, I
those are
like
my
the
top
beauty
three that
mark.
I would interview. Yeah. Any more questions for myself or Manny? Fashion Dolls, this is such a great interview and conversation. And I hope you guys, again, are taking something from this that could be beneficial and help you if you decide to get into the mountain work. And that was actually going to be my next question for you while we're waiting on people to type. What advice would you give to someone who's looking to get into this industry? Because in the beginning, you mentioned height. And when you said height, I was thinking about this article that I read in Essence magazine, and they were saying models back in the day had to be at least 5'9" to at least 6 feet, and that's for certain modeling ages. But now they became sort of open to height requirements. They don't care what height you are.
Yeah.
So,
I would say don't listen to the height requirements. I mean,
mm,
obviously, if you're going out for a casting, then you know they have a certain standard that they want. For guys, it's usually 5'9" and up. For females,
yeah,
it's a little bit more linear. But find your own way. Like, don't listen to people telling you that you can't, you can't, you can't. Find your own way to break into anything that you want to do. That's modeling, that's music. Find your way to do it for you, and most of all, do it because it's something that you want to do. If you follow those two guidelines, you can't go wrong, and there's always doors that are going to open up for you, no matter where you start and where you end with it. There's always going to be elevation, and there's always going to be doors that open up and platforms that open up to you, because this is who you're becoming, and you carry yourself a certain way, and you never gave up. Persistence is key.
absolutely. And consistency is key. If this is something that you're passionate about doing, there's so many agencies out here and uh, coaches. If you're looking to get with someone who can help you elevate your career in the fashion world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ooh, great question, Island Yankee. We've got one for you, Manny, and this is from my fraternal Island Yankee. He wants to know, how do you deal with people who tolerate you but don't celebrate?
Sheesh. That's a great question. People who tolerate you but don't celebrate you. I mean, you gotta. In my opinion, you have to treat them better than they treat you. But you know what I'm saying? That only goes so far with certain personalities. Me myself, as the type of personality who's always like outgoing, who's always like putting himself out there, I'm not very shady at all. So I tend to treat people a lot better than they treat me. But
Yeah,
the hope is that, one, I'm still being myself through and through. I'm still being the authentic person that I am, and the happy person that I am. But also, two, nobody should ever get under your skin for any reason, because you give them an inch, they take a mile, and once they see that something is under your skin, they're gonna continue to do it in bigger ways and bigger ways. So my advice would be, treat them much better than how they treat you. If they tolerate you but don't celebrate you, then you just keep being you, and you celebrate you, because you know nobody's gonna celebrate you better than you are.
absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Do we have any more questions? Fashion Dog, this is such a great interview and conversation. Javen says, that's right. Tim says, that's my boy. Let me see if I missed any other
What's
comments.
up, Kev?
Okay, yep, we're caught up. We're caught up on everything. So my last question for you is, what is next for Manny in the future? Because I'm pretty sure it's going to be more uh, amazing photography and so much more in the future. What is next for Manny in the future?
So, Tyson Plus and I are finalizing a date to shoot the show. So that's coming up. Also, I just landed a spread in a magazine, my first magazine spread, called Weezin Magazine. I will be posting that pretty soon. But the rest of the year, I have about 4 or 5 more photographers that I really want to work with. That's on my vision board. So
Okay.
I'm gonna try to knock those out and give you guys amazing shoots for the rest of the year. We have what, 4 more months left in the year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to give you guys the best shoots possible for the rest of 2022.
All right. So you guys have to stay tuned. Do we have any last questions? Any last final remarks? Jay Evans says you better come through, Manny. Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm good with questions, so I'm not going to bombard him. All right, Fashion Dolls, any last questions, any last final remarks before we conclude? We have another interview. You guys are getting two today. So coming up next, we have singer-songwriter Durant. CNC, he will be here with me. and the next hour at 4 p.m. is just about that time. So, any last minute questions with our special guest here, Manny, today? It was such a pleasure having you here. Like, you were truly a breath of fresh air.
Thank you so much for having me, Miss Stevie. I look forward to working together in any magnitude in the future for sure.
Definitely, definitely. Well, if we don't have any more questions or comments, let everyone know where they can follow you and check you out and support your project.
You can follow me on Instagram at focus underscore is underscore hope. Same on Twitter, focus underscore is underscore hope.
Wait, we've got one question from Frankie.
Sorry.
Frankie wants to know.
Um, Sorry, just give me a second.
Oh no, you good. Frankie wants to know what about the music?
The,
And you
mu-
talked about acting and modeling, but you do music?
the music is coming. I am still finding producers and writers and studios. So the music is a little on the back page right now, but it's coming. It's coming. I promise, it's coming.
Okay,
Shout
okay.
out to my guy Frankie.
All
Who's
right,
an amazing singer, songwriter, and producer.
all right. So music is coming in the future. You mentioned Tyson Plus, and it's I'm pretty much is going to be more and more to come in the future as well. Also,
Yes, definitely, definitely.
all right. Fashion dolls. Any last minute questions? Any remarks before we conclude? Because this was such a great conversation. Your energy is everything, and I see so much for you in the future.
Thank you so much, Miss Stevie.
You're so welcome. We're waiting to see if we have any last minute questions, fashion dolls, before we conclude. Again, coming up next, we have Durant Searcy, who is a singer and songwriter also. So make sure you
Woo!
guys in as well. Thanks for having my boy on here. You are so welcome, Terrence. And you're
Shout out
welcome
to
to come back
Cat.
to the dollhouse anytime.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to conclude it here if we don't have anything else. And I'm going to let Manny take it away with a final thought. Give someone an encouraging word out there because I know everybody's going through this thing going on. I don't even have to get into logistics of it, but give someone an encouraging word.
I would say just continue to be you, strive to find a better you, try to make a try to make a better person in this world. That this world has too many people that are just not trying to be good people. Try to be a good person for yourself, for the world, and ultimately I feel that you will be a force to be reckoned with in this world if you just take the time to focus on you, focus on hope, and be a better person in this world. We have too many shitty people in this world. Be a better person. Be great. Be you. Focus is hope.
All right, fashion dolls. And that concludes our interview with Manny Focus. Make sure you guys stay tuned, follow him, and I will tag his information here. This interview will be saved here on IGTV, and you can check it out on my YouTube channel, Style by Stevie. So make sure you guys head on over and subscribe. And great news, we just hit 110 subscribers. So thank you all so much
Woo-hoo.
for support unconditionally. The page on Facebook has now reached 1.4K. Thank you all so much for your
That's
love
dope.
and
That's dope.
unconditional support. Thank you, Fashion Dolls. So I will see you guys again coming up next with our next special guest, Mr. Durant Searcy. You guys see you in a bit. Go refresh your drinks and come back at 4. Take care.